Hi everyone, back today with another layout. I did a layout a couple of weeks ago where I used circles as my background, and it was on a Christmas layout, and it stuck in my mind. I really wanted to do that again with some really bright colours, and in the back of my mind I knew it was definitely going to be Sweet Taffy. This range of papers is super bright without being really tacky. It's just really nice bright colours, and on a white background it's just going to really stand out. So I grabbed out these photos of my son, and he's got face painting, and he's a pink cat, so I don't get to use pink a lot on my son's layouts, so wherever I can I do. So he's got a pink face. I'm going to use some of this pink because I love this pink paper out of the Sweet Taffy range. So I thought this is a perfect chance to use it. So I grabbed out my circle framelits and just grabbed just a couple of sizes and just worked out a couple of the different sheets of paper that I wanted to use. And I cut out a whole bunch of circles. I had no idea how many I was going to need, and I ended up having to cut out a few more, but I just cut out a whole bunch and worked out what I would need. So here you can see I've got a whole bunch cut out, and I'm just going to lay them across the page. So the layout, Christmas layout I did sort of in a cluster around the photos, and this one I thought to make it a little bit different, I'm going to do a cluster of the circles from left to right across the page. So here I worked out I wanted to use the pink and the green and the yellow. It worked really well with my photos, but the other side of that green is a lovely purple with a large white polka dot, and so I was contemplating whether I wanted to use that or not. So you'll see in a second I flip a couple over, and I think, yeah, the mixture of the purple in there, it's really good too. So the blue strip of paper that I've got there, I knew I wanted to matte my photos with that, so that's why I didn't put blue in there. So I went away and cut out some more circles there. So I laid them all out. That's how I wanted them. So it's not a straight line of cluster of the circles. I sort of made it a bit more top heavy on the right there because that's where my photos are going to go. And I just really liked how it all sat on the page there. So I was working out where I wanted my title to go. So I picked out some letter stamps. They're the Metro type stamps, and my little letter framelits. And I haven't worked out exactly what colours I'm going to cut out with them yet, but I was just playing around with them. You can see them up in the top left there. So here I am matting the photos in that blue. I knew I wanted that blue on there, and it just looks really nice with that matted. So it's not a solid colour to matte on, but that didn't bother me. So that's the only strip of that blue I've got left. I used the other part of that paper on some other project. And I had thought in the back of mine, I think I'm going to run a little piece across the top and the bottom. And then when I put the first photo on that paper to matte, I cut it so that it's not 12 inches anymore. So I was cursing. But that doesn't matter. As you can see, I've just cut the strip, and I thought I'm just going to stick it down. No one will ever notice that it's not joined properly. So I grabbed out this yellow washi. It's from the Beach House washi set. It's really cute. So it's the same colour as the yellow in the papers. So I put a little bit of that down the top and the bottom first, and it's kind of a bit whimsical page, so I didn't make sure that it was lined up to be perfectly symmetrical. I just sort of put it down. So you can see at the top there, it's not straight, but I didn't want it to be straight. I just wanted a bit of whimsy in the layout, so I'm happy with that. So I put a little bit of that down first, and then this small strip that I had left of that blue, I cut it in half. So it's only a tiny bit, but that's all I really wanted at the top and bottom. It was just a little bit too plain at the top and bottom, but I didn't want a lot of focus to go down there. So that's all it was, just a tiny little bit. So the green Tombow glue, it's called Multi Glue. I'm trying to look for some on my desk right now to give you the correct name, and I can't find it. As is always the case. Here we go. It's the Tombow Mono Liquid Glue Multi. I find this is the best glue to stick down anything and everything. It comes out thin, so it's really good like for things like this where it's really thin strips, but it also takes a couple of seconds to actually dry and adhere, so it gives you just that couple of seconds just to move it into place. So it's good to have, and I've got a few bottles sitting on my desk all the time. Okay, so here I've got the Metro type letter stamps, and I decided to stamp the word cat. That's going to be Little Pink Cat is my title. So I just used the Tempting Turquoise, which is the blue. It's the same blue as in the blue paper that I used. And here I just put the paper piercer mat underneath, because these stamps are photopolymer, to give it a little bit of give that the rubber stamp already gives you. You get a little bit of a crisper a stamp when you actually use it on that paper piercer mat. So it's just a little tip if you have some photopolymer stamps and they're not stamping quite right. Using the Stampin' Up grid paper works as well, but when I'm scrapbooking I normally just have my green cutting mat out, so just the paper piercer, it's easy just to grab and check under your stamping there. Okay, so now I've got my little letter framelets, they're called, and I decided to cut that out in the pink paper, considering it's the word pink. I really love how this turned out, because there's that gradual effect of the pink colours in the actual design of the paper. It worked out really, really pretty, that the bottom of the word is the dark pink and then the top of the word is the light pink, and I really love it. So I'm really happy with how that turned out. And then for the word little, I grabbed out my Everyday Adventure Project Life accessory pack with the little green letters from that, and so stuck that down. So this layout didn't take me very long to do. It was quite quick, mainly because the focus of this layout's the circles. I didn't want too much else on this page, and I think it's quite an effective page. I really love it. I want to use it more, but I don't want every layout in my scrapbook to be circles. But I think you can put a twist on this in a lot of different ways. So I can't wait to do something else with these circle framelets. They're well worth the money, that's for sure. Okay, so here I am. I'm just working out the word little. So I just used up some of the wax paper that I have. The wax paper is great for your framelets and thinlets to get them to pop out easier. So I have a roll sitting at my desk, but it's also very handy when you've got little stickers like this and you want to line them up and then you're not sure where you want to put them on your layout, or you want it to get centered or something like that. So here you can see I've just stuck them on this wax paper and moved it around because I didn't know if I wanted centered it right on top of the pink cat or to the left a little or down the side there. So it just gives you a little bit of leverage around just to see where you want to put them. So I decided I wanted them there. So that's what I did there, and it takes me a little while to stick them down. Lucky this isn't fast forward. Okay, so I decided to pop up my photos. There's not a lot of texture in this layout because it's just the circles, so I thought just to pop those photos up, we'll just give that a little bit more focus on the photos to give that a little bit of depth. So I put it down, and then I realised I wanted the green dot, the green circle that's in between them to actually show through. I didn't want them clustered together. So I just moved it over a little bit. Okay, then I decided that it needed just a little bit of something extra. So I grabbed out my candy dots, and I love my candy dots because I know they match all the colours that the Stampin' Up papers come in. And I wanted to use my Tempting Turquoise dots, but I only had a couple left. But that's alright. I got the Rich Razzleberry, so I know that was going to match. And I just put a few just around the page in a few spots just to give it a little bit of extra something. I didn't want to put splatters or anything on this page because there's already circles and I wanted to leave it like that. So I put one down the bottom there because I knew that's where my journaling, I wanted to put that. Not sure how I wanted my journaling yet, but I thought that's a perfect spot for it. So I thought I needed that little bit of that tempting turquoise on the page. So I grabbed out my tempting turquoise marker and decided I was going to write it. I don't like to write on my pages a lot. I don't like my handwriting, but I thought I'm going to write it. So I just grabbed some paper and just wrote down what I wanted to say first, because I wanted it to end on the very bottom of my page. So if I just started writing and guessing where I wanted to start it, I'd either have too much room left or not enough room. So I wrote out what I wanted to write and then basically wrote it backwards. So not letter by letter backwards, but row by row backwards. So it worked out. Sorry, I'm rubbing the paper there because I had a little bit of glue on there. So I was just trying to rub that little bit of glue off. So as you can see, I just sort of started with the last couple of words